Now coming to the nerve supply of the diaphragm. Nerve supply of the center part of the diaphragm or the central tendon of the diaphragm is from the phrenic nerve. That is motor and the sensory supply of the central part of the diaphragm. Because the central tendon of the diaphragm is made up of septum transversum, and we know that septum transversum is present at the level of C345 level, and it is supplied by phrenic nerve. So that in adult diaphragm, the central part of the diaphragm will be supplied by phrenic nerve, and the peripheral part, as we have discussed, that it is developing from the mesoderm of the body wall. So it will be supplied by nerve supply of the lateral body wall is intercostal nerves. Lower intercostal nerves, they will supply the peripheral part of the diaphragm. Now coming to the anomalies, congenital anomalies, that is congenital diaphragmatic hernia. It is herniation of the defects, herniation of the abdominal contents into the thoracic cavity through a gap or defect in the diaphragm is called as diaphragmatic, congenital diaphragmatic hernia. Most common type of the hernia is posterolateral hernia or the foramen of through the foramen of Bogdalek. It is most common type of congenital diaphragmatic hernia. This you can see the pleuroperitoneal canal, and in this condition the defect is due to defective development of pleuroperitoneal membrane, or if the pleuroperitoneal membrane fails to fill this gap, so the foramen or the defect remain, and the contents of the abdominal cavity will herniate through this gap, and it is called as for posterolateral hernia or the hernia through the foramen of Bogdalek. And mostly in 90% cases it is on the left side. Why it is on the left side? Because as we have discussed that left side of the pleuroperitoneal canal is larger as compared to the right side, and it closes later than the right side. That's why the posterolateral hernia is more common on the left side. Now here you can see the diaphragmatic hernia. Here is the gap in diaphragm through which the abdominal contents like stomach, spleen or coils of intestine are herniating into the thoracic cavity. And if they will herniate into thoracic cavity, there will be less space in the thoracic cavity. So developing lungs will not get enough space to develop properly. So there will be hypoplastic lungs, and because of these hypoplastic lungs there will be breathlessness in the baby. So how the baby will present? There will be breathlessness in the baby, and if the baby is placed upright, then his condition improves. Why it will improve? Because of reduction of hernia, because due to gravity during upright posture, during standing or in sitting position, in upright position, these all contents will descend down due to effect of gravity, and that will lead to relieving of the symptom or the reduction of hernia, because of that will lead to relieving of the symptoms of breathlessness. And one more thing, why the death occurs in cases of diaphragmatic hernia? That is due to pulmonary hypoplasia. That will lead to death. It is the cause of death in case of diaphragmatic hernia. In the diagram you can see the gap in the diaphragm, posterolateral part, and the contents are herniating into the abdominal cavity. That will lead to hypoplastic lungs. Now the congenital hiatal hernia. In this condition, herniation of the fetal stomach in the thoracic cavity through esophageal hiatus, or the esophageal hiatus of the diaphragm is larger as compared to normal conditions. Through large esophageal hiatus, this is normal condition, and this is esophageal opening in the diaphragm, and in the second diagram this esophageal opening of the diaphragm is larger, so the upper part of the stomach will move into the thoracic cavity. But this condition is rare in since birth, so it is rare in congenital, but due to large esophageal hiatus, it is a predisposing factor for acquired hiatal hernia. Means if there are any predisposing factor like increased abdominal pressure or intra-abdominal pressure or other conditions, it may lead to hernia. So it will be called as acquired hiatal hernia. Now here in this diagram you can see first one is the Bogdelic hernia, also called as posterolateral hernia. Here the failure of formation of pleuroperitoneal membrane or that will lead to formation of hernia, and also called as costovertebral hernia because the gap is present between costal and vertebral origin of the diaphragm. So it is also called as costovertebral hernia. And the second one is the Morgagnian hernia. What is Morgagnian hernia? It is also called as retrosternal or the parasternal hernia, or you can say it is this space of Larrey. There is a wide gap between sternal and costal origin of the diaphragm. This is the sternal origin of the diaphragm and the costal origin. These are the ribs and anterior is the sternum. So there is gap. This gap is present in between these two. So this is Morgagnian hernia. This is a retrosternal or the parasternal hernia or the hernia through space of Larrey. And this is central hernia. Here the gap is present in the central part of the diaphragm. So first one is the Bogdelic hernia, which is also called as costovertebral hernia because this gap is present in the posterolateral part of the diaphragm, and here the gap is present in the costo or vertebral origin of the diaphragm, so also called as costovertebral hernia. Second is the retrosternal or parasternal or the hernia through space of Larrey, that is present between sternal and costal origin of the diaphragm. And the third one is the central hernia, and this gap is present in the central part of the diaphragm. Now coming to the eventration of the diaphragm. In this condition, muscle in the one half of the diaphragm is very thin. So there is no gap in the diaphragm. Diaphragm is continuous, but the musculature of the diaphragm is very thin, like a papers. That's why it is called as membranous, thin or membranous, and it will lead to ballooning out or eventration of the abdominal contents into the thoracic cavity. You can see like this. These are the abdominal contents. They are herniating into the thoracic cavity through a thin membrane. This thin membrane is diaphragm. Diaphragm is like a paper or like a membrane. And this anomaly occurs when the muscular tissue does not develop in pleuroperitoneal membrane, or we can say this mesoderm of the body wall will not replace the pleuroperitoneal membrane that will need. So muscular tissue will not develop into the pleuroperitoneal membrane, and that's why that will lead to formation of the thin paper like diaphragm and lead to eventration of the abdominal content into the pulmonary cavity and call as eventration of the diaphragm. And symptom will be same as the diaphragmatic hernia, but the defect is not like the diaphragmatic hernia, that there is no defect in the diaphragm, there is no gap in continuity of the diaphragm in this condition. But in diaphragmatic hernia there will be gap or defect in the diaphragm. So we have seen that development of the diaphragm is by the four components: septum transversum, which will form the central tendon of the diaphragm, and this septum transversum is developing from the anterolateral body wall like this, and posterolateral to it there is a canal that is called as posterolateral canal, pleuroperitoneal canal, through which thoracic and abdominal cavities are continuous with each other, and this gap is filled by pleuroperitoneal membrane. This pleuroperitoneal membrane will fill this gap, and So in the early fetal life, there are three components, and third component is the dorsal mesentery of the esophagus. This septum transversum will form the central tendon of the diaphragm. This dorsal mesentery of the esophagus will form the crura of the diaphragm, and a pleuroperitoneal membrane will fill the pleuroperitoneal canal, and it will form the small peripheral part of the diaphragm. And later the muscular growth mesoderm of the body wall, this one, which it will replace the pleuroperitoneal membrane, and only a small component of this pleuroperitoneal membrane will remain during birth. So in the diaphragm there will be a large peripheral part of the diaphragm will be formed by this mesoderm of the body wall. So we can say the central tendon of the diaphragm is formed by septum transversum. Small peripheral part of the diaphragm is formed by pleuroperitoneal membrane, and large peripheral part of the diaphragm is formed by the mesoderm